signs she is coming back after you have given her distance and space. So, my name's Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach, and today I'm talking about exactly that. If you've given a girl distance, how can you tell if she's actually coming back? So it might have been the case for you that perhaps, a woman said to you that she needed space and distance from you, and you gave that to her. So how can you then tell then if she is starting to warm back up to you and wants to start seeing you again, and wants to come back, basically? So obviously one of the best ways to tell is if she sends you a direct message or if she phones you up. So if she sends you a direct message, like a private message that only you can see, like via WhatsApp or Messenger, or text you, or Telegram or something like that, or it might be, she phones you up in a private conversation, to have a private conversation with you. That's one of the best ways. And when she is talking to you, it's positive. So she's probably just asking you like, hey, how are you? Asking you something like that, or asking what you've been up to. However, if it's something like, can I collect my stuff? That's not a good sign. If it's something about finalizing the relationship and making sure that it's over, like collecting her stuff or dropping some of your things off, things like that, that's not good. But if it's a direct message or a phone call from her saying something simple like, hey, how are you? What you been up to? How you been these days? That's a lot better. That's much better. Now, a lot of people get confused and they get hopeful when said woman likes one of their posts or follows them on a certain social media account or unblocks them. And they get hope as well, like if they are watching all of your stories, or if they're commenting on your things, or if they're retweeting your tweets, things like that. But we can't take any of it seriously. So don't take any of it seriously, okay? What you need from her as a sign that she is more likely warming up to you and is going to come back is if she directly messages you and it's only something that you can see. So if she comments on something saying, hey, how are you? That's not good enough. It has to be a private message, right? It has to be a private message. So what I want to say to you, though, is that don't wait around for this kind of thing to happen, because I think a lot of people do, right? They think, okay, well, this woman wants distance from me, whether it's an ex or whether it's someone that you've just been dating, and they hope and pray that she's going to come back, which is fair enough because you care about her. You want her, obviously. You're attracted to her. You want to be in a relationship with her, or you want the relationship back. It's fair enough. You can't deny those feelings, but you don't want to be waiting around for someone that may or may not come back. Because if you vow to give a woman distance, that because she's asked for it, then you have to stick to that. You have to stick to that. Because if you don't stick to that, and you don't give her the space and you don't give her the distance, then ultimately you're going to ruin any kind of chances of her coming back. But you also don't want to be waiting around by the phone, hoping that she's going to message you, because that kind of keeps you stuck and it keeps you in a kind of limbo. And you don't want to ever give anyone that kind of power over you. Like if you're waiting for a message from an ex or from someone that wanted distance from you, who rejected you perhaps, or just decided that they just lost interest, let's say, over time, over a few dates. You don't want to give anyone that kind of power over you. Like you're going to be waiting by the phone, hoping and praying that you're going to be getting a message from her. You don't want to give her that kind of power. So if a woman wants distance from you, you have to give that distance to her, and you kind of need to just carry on with your life. You need to get on with things. You need to progress with other things in your life, because it may be the case that she doesn't come back, and you want to start getting over that basically as soon as you possibly can. Stop waiting around for her. So you want to be focusing on other things, other areas of your life, perhaps even dating new people if you've got over that relationship. And if it was just a woman that you were dating, then you probably won't need to get over it that much. So you can probably start dating again immediately. Because what you got to think of is like, but obviously if it was your ex, then you probably need a lot longer to get over it. But basically, if you have this, you have this girl that, said she wanted space, and, you've been on a few dates with her. If you've got other women that you're dating, then it's not going to feel as bad, right? If she was your only one shot and your only one hope to a relationship and she's the only girl that's been speaking to you for ages, then obviously it's going to feel more dramatic and you're going to feel more insecure around her because you don't have any other options. Whereas if you're dating multiple women and you've got other girls that want to, be around you and date you and things like that, then it's not going to feel as bad if one of those women, or even the woman that you are most interested in, decides that she doesn't really want to start hanging out with you anymore and she wants distance from you. So it's good to have other options, basically, because then you won't feel as desperate to be with that one. But another sign that she is probably going to come back is perhaps if she re-adds you as a friend on something and then messages you quite shortly after that. Because I had this kind of experience. I had broken up with a girl who I would say it was a relationship, but I kind of also say it isn't a relationship because it was only like a few months. Like, it wasn't something I needed a long time to get over because it was only like a 3 to 4 month thing. But so we split up and I broke up with her. But then a few months later, she re-added me. And not long after she re-added me, she directly messaged me, right? She messaged me saying, hey, how are you? How are things? And then there was a point where I was actually thinking about meeting up with her. I was thinking, should I give her another chance? And things like that. But it never kind of worked out. But we did sort of start making half plans to meet up again. But it ultimately didn't go the right way because basically what I realized is that I didn't want to go back with her because there was other things that she'd done that were a bit inconsistent, and it made me a bit suspicious of her because of things that she'd said. Just to give you a bit of a tiny overview. But anyway, if she adds you on something and then messages you like within like the first 24, maybe 48 hours, that's a really good sign as well that she wants to continue things. Especially if perhaps it's an ex that did like unfriend you or unfollow you on something, or it was a girl that you were dating that unfriended you and unfollowed you. So that's a really good sign that perhaps she wants to reconnect and start things off again. Just from my own personal experience, that one. But what you got to really consider is if the best sign out there is that she actually messages you or calls you up, right? And ignore any other kind of social media habits like liking, commenting, sharing, looking at your stories, things like that. You have to ignore those ones because those ones mean little to nothing. I know a lot of people get hung up on the way someone is behaving on social media. It doesn't have to be like for women. It could be, women who are dating guys that they're hoping it is going to come back. Don't get so caught up on the way that they behave on social media because it does literally mean little to nothing. And even if it is meaning something, then it's more likely that you're dealing with someone who is a manipulator. So, for example, if they unblock you and then block you again, then keep on doing that. Or it could be the case that they're messaging you and then they say something like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to send that to you, or something like that. If they're doing strange, peculiar things like that, then, you got to realize that perhaps they're trying to bait me into something, but I wouldn't take those things seriously. And you should never take those things seriously. But if they want to come back and the distance has worked, you will hear from them. They will reach out to you at some point. But like I said, it's better not to wait around for that person because you never know that they are. You never know what's going on in someone else's head. And I'm not I'm not Mystic Meg or a crystal ball reader or whatever, there's no way that I can tell you directly if they are coming back. But them messaging you or calling you up out of the blue, that is the best sign out there that things are going to progress really well. As long as the context of what they're saying, as long as it's not about finalizing things, as long as it's about inquiring, if it's about inquiring about you, saying, hey, how are you? What have you been up to? How have things been? That's a good sign. But if it's anything like, can I get my stuff? Ignore it, okay? Because it doesn't mean that they're coming back. They just want to ignore, well, obviously, you can give them their stuff back or whatever it may be, but you don't want to take that as a sign, essentially, that they want you, because it's very, very unlikely that that's true. So you don't want to be hanging on to all of these little things that they may be doing right now, like, for example, liking your posts or watching your stories. Don't hang on to those kinds of things because most of the time, like I said, they mean little to nothing. And I don't want you, and don't keep on getting your hope, because what it does, it gets your hopes up. Right, if they like your post, you're like, oh, does that mean they like me? Are they starting to fall back in love with me? You know, you don't want to be doing stuff like that. So the best thing to do is just to completely ignore everything that they do on social media, unless it's a direct message to you, or they call you up, right? And it's private. It's not a comment. It's an actual message, direct message to you. And to ignore absolutely everything else. Try not to wait by the phone. Please try not to wait by the phone and look into small things that mean nothing, because that's not gonna be very good for your mental health. But if you like this video, please leave a like on it. And if you would like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.